this Mike, NoStressMike.com. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm going through the thought process on this, what do I need, the kind of stuff that I need, and how am I going to use the stuff? How am I going to get it? It's a big thing what I'm going through now. I'm making a written list. What's happened is this is nothing like the United States. You just don't go down and get stuff. You just don't get on the internet and order things. And like I say, some things that are they're illegal here that are legal in the United States. So this is just a little different. Like I say, there's two things I've had to determine. One is, am I going to stay? If shit hits the fan, I'm not worried about what the scenario is. It's just, if the scenario calls for me to stay here, what stuff will I need, and what kind of problems will I be facing? So that's one option. And then the other option is going to be leave. And if I leave this apartment, I will be a refugee. And now, is it going to be the kind of refugee that will have to leave the country? Is it the kind of refugee goes to the FEMA camp kind of thing? It's going to be, once I make the decision I'm leaving my apartment, then that's going to open up a whole nother can of worms. It's going to be, how much cash am I going to have, gold and silver? If I'm leaving, there's probably not going to be any more ATM machines. And so that's it. And trying to buy everything is not going to work out, because I can't speak. I don't speak the language. I don't know the language. So leaving, and where am I going to go? So leaving is really the last resort. That's what I have to think about this really good. It's going to have to be big time that I have to leave, and it'd be like earthquake, and the buildings are unstable. Then I pretty much have to leave. There's scenarios where you have to stay put. You'll notice a lot of times in emergency situations, they tell everybody to go home and lock yourself in and let the government handle all this. Like I mentioned here, the government is Big Brother. I mean, the government's going to take care of it. I mean, it just remember I talk about the three-man militia stuff? It doesn't apply here. The attitude of the people, there's no way. For me, I'm good on organizing people, letting them understand the realities that we got to face, and getting things going. I'm really good at that because of all my experiences. The problem is here, the language barrier is going to be a thing that's going to stop. That's the first thing, but that's not the only thing, because this is what I'm saying. Their attitude is, well, we don't need you. The government's going to take care of us. So then, so now that won't work. I could not live this lifestyle in an apartment in a high rise where I'm at. I would not do it any place in the world that I know of. There's just no way I would do it. I don't know of, I would trust, no, not me personally, but as a citizen, I understand why they trust the government. They really don't have much of a choice. And so, and when you've born and raised like that, you just, hey, Big Brother's going to take care of me, no big deal. And this is the stuff I go through with my wife. When it gets down to the nitty-gritty, does she trust me or does she trust the Chinese government? The Chinese government comes in first. That's the reality of the situation. And I understand that. I know that. And that's one of the reasons why I chose her and chose China. Because it's the same thing with me. My country means more to me than this surrogate, I think that's what the word is, surrogate country. And so my obligations go to my country. So what I'll end up doing is, if things are bad here, I want to go back. For her, there's no way she would leave the security of this country. There's just no way. Now, if she was younger, it would be a different story. Or if we were younger, I'll put it that way. It'd be a different story. That's why my wife, my late wife of 41 years, she came to the United States legally and wanted to become an American citizen. And it's different here. And I understand that, and that's okay, because we got our problems just like they have their problems here. And when the problems here are too massive for me, then I know I got to go back. And then it's going to be up to her to make a decision. And if the problems are in the United States, I'm going to go back. And for sure, she won't want anything to do with that. So, she wants to stay with her security here. So, it's trying to figure out stay put or leave. And then, like I say, if I can get an advance notice on whatever the situation is, either here or in the United States, then I could get on the train get me to the airport, and airport get me back to the United States if I can get some kind of advance notice. If there isn't any, I'm going to have severe problems, and this is what I've got to figure now. Stay or leave. If I'm staying, and that's what I got to do, I got to figure out if I'm going to stay, what will I need to stay? And if I'm going to stay here and stay in the apartment, how many days supply do I need to stay? Now, there are all these other people that are around here. Don't forget, this country is full of sheeple. That's the whole system is like that. Any black sheep they're weeded out. So now, how long will most of these people be able to survive before they're looking for Big Brother government to take care of them? I would say 2 or 3 days. If the government says go to your homes, we've got problems we got to deal with, I think most people could only survive 2 or 3 days at home. And like I say, if it's looting and all this kind of stuff, this city would not be one of these kind of cities. If there's going to be a revolution or something, this is not the city that is going to happen in. And even if it was, I would have plenty of notice ahead of time to figure out what I'm going to do. And so I'm figuring 2 or 3 days of supplies is what I'm going to need. So I'll probably want to get a week of supplies so I can stay. I've already got, I know I'm one of the weird people because I carry freeze-dried food with me. So I've got enough, I think I got 2 or 3 days supply of freeze-dried food for myself. And like I say, I got water purification. I travel with water purification, so that won't be no big deal. Now I got to figure out what will I need, and this is why I made the video showing you my environment, the doors and stuff like that. How am I going to be able to get in and get out? Do I control my? I have to think. If I'm going to stay, does that mean I stay in my room, or do I control the hallway out in front of the house or in front of the apartment? Do I can control the stairways? But I say I'm a long ways up, so don't know about that. So there's things I got to figure if I want to stay. And I say, do I leave? Not only the first question is where am I going to go, and so it's going to be if it is leave, it's going to be Big Brother. And when Big Brother calls you, whatever stuff that you're taking with you, they're probably going to confiscate it. So that'll be another video. I'll talk about how to when I go out under government control. In the United States, I wouldn't be under government control. If I'm going from one area to another, it won't be under government control. So being confiscated is going to be a whole other story. But here, it's going to be the reality that I'm going to have to deal with. But anyway, something that I'm thinking on now. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.